Thank you so much.
Good evening. Welcome to our March board meeting. We have some guests in the audience. Thank you for coming. Can I get a roll call, please?
Mr. Albrecht,
Here.
Mr. Brown, Dr. Hall, Mrs. Roop,
Here.
Mr. Teray, Mrs. Gasparo,
Here.
and Mrs. Galbraith is here.
Stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Patton, would you read the mission statement, please?
The mission of School District 201U is to ensure that every child is challenged to reach his or her full potential academically, socially, and emotionally as they grow and develop into thoughtful, productive, and contributing members of society.
Thank you. Good news report. It looks like we have some basketball players in the audience. Crete Monee Middle School boys basketball team. Ms. Chrysos.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you to the board for having us this evening. We appreciate the time. And thank you to our superintendent for having us here today. I am very happy and very excited to share with you our fantastic news from the middle school. Our record-breaking Crete Monee Middle School 8th grade boys team this year made it to the Elite 8 of the state, which is a first-time accomplishment for us at the middle school in the history of the middle school. So that being said, we also have several other titles under our belt. This year, our record was 19-2. We are consolation champs for the Best of the Best tournament, South Suburban Junior High School Association champs, regional champs for the Illinois Elementary Schools Association for Class 4A, sectional champs for the Class 4A IESA title as well. And finally, we made the Elite 8, which is the top 8 schools in the state, and only lost in one game at the end there to the team who actually won the state championship, Bloomington Evans. We were tied with 6.5 seconds left when Bloomington hit a 3-pointer. So it was really close. And I'm so super proud of these young men. This is just a portion of our 12-person team. A lot of our young men play AAU ball, and they have sectionals or something today, championships, something, playoffs. There they go. They have playoffs. So a bunch of our guys couldn't be here tonight, but the members who are here, if you would come on up. What do I have here? Number 3, Malik Morgan. Number 4, Brandon Turner. Number 5, Terry Elias. Number 11, Ahmad Henderson. Number 13, Marcus Gillespie. And number 23, Mark Kazunas. Come on up. And leading our team to victory is Coach Katie Ryder. Come on up, Katie. She was the bonus. And our assistant coach, Jeff Miller, couldn't be here this evening. So please give a round of applause to these young men. They are not only fantastic athletes, they're also wonderful students. And we appreciate all the support and effort that is put into the program. We know that a lot of money is expended on sports, but obviously we've done a great job with this team, and we really appreciate your time and effort on behalf of the students. Thank you. I'm coming.
Yeah, right.
Basketball, baseball, or football. Yeah.
All that energy.
Oh, my God.
Board member comments. Cheryl, do you want to start?
Well, sure. I want to say thank you for inviting us to your little banquet tonight. I had the honor of attending. It was nice to hear all the nicknames and to see how highly you regard your coach. It was obvious in the things that you said. So I congratulate you all for your hard work. And also, I know you did well academically, which is very important too. So great job, everybody. We're very proud of you.
Yeah, congratulations, guys. Great accomplishment. I think the whole entire community is very proud of you, and keep studying hard because we need you in the high school soon. So look forward to seeing you there.
Yep.
Not much left to say that my colleagues haven't already said, except that I am extremely proud of all of you. And it's nice to hear I unfortunately couldn't make the banquet, but it's nice that Mrs. Roop let us know that your grades are up there, because those are very important. And I hope you remember that as you're playing basketball. The only way to keep going is to keep those grades up. So congratulations and great job.
Congratulations, and it's very exciting to know that you guys are not just slam dunking on the court, but just slam dunking in the classroom too, right? So that is very important. Now, one of you told me that you know how to dunk. What's your name?
Don't have what?
Brandon?
Brandon Turner,
Brandon Turner. How tall are you?
6 foot.
Ooh, 6 feet? Already. Wow. Well, I'm 5'4", so can you teach me how to dunk?
5'4" too.
Are you that good that you could teach me how to dunk? He's like, maybe not. Yeah. Okay. If you're up for the challenge, I'm up for it. I'll meet you at the middle school. They know I will. Okay. So if you want to do it, let Miss Katie know. But congratulations, guys. I know this is an awesome feeling. And I don't know if you guys want to play when you go on to college. Some of you guys want to play when you go on to college. The same thing that you're doing in the classroom is going to take also when you go to college and when you go to high school. So just make sure that you have fun, but always keep your mind on your grades and do well in school, okay? Great job.
I'm sorry I wasn't able to get to your banquet tonight, but thank you very much for the invitation. I'm so very proud of you guys. A couple of you I know from my subbing days at Monee Elementary. Brandon, I think you went to Monee, correct? Yeah. And I used to be taller than you. So yeah, it's a big adjustment for me. I've typically been the mom of the team that comes in last. So it's a good accomplishment to now be the proud president of the school board of a team that comes in first. So congratulations. You guys, even though you didn't go all the way to be the first team in the district that did this, that's fabulous. So keep the grades up, keep up the good work. And you're all 8th grade, right? So you're all going to be coming and playing here next year? Very good. Congratulations. Keep up the good work.
Coach, congratulations. I know the players hold you in very high esteem. Thank you for your commitment to our young people. I'd like to recognize the parents who are in the audience, because without them, these students would all parents of the players please stand and be recognized? All parents that were here. Thank you for sending us a great bunch of kids. I got a chance to interact with some of the young men before the banquet started. Found out that our point guard has a straight A average, which is awesome. That's what it's all about. But all of these young men are mannerable. Yes, sir. No, sir. When I entered the auditorium entrance, young man held the door for me like old school. That's what it's all about. They're very mannerable young men, and you represent your school very well. Now, a little bird told me that you guys are being recruited by some of the schools in Chicago, like Brother Rice and Marist and assorted other places. Stay here. This is where you belong. And stay together. Keep your grades up. Keep working hard. And bring the first state championship in basketball to Crete Monee High School. It's well within your means. I'm so proud of you guys. I don't know what to do. And I have to say, parents of one of the basketball players, two of my Bloom kids, right? Bloom and Bloom Trail kids, raise your hand.
All right.
We're everywhere. So I take pride in that. So again, on behalf of all of us, we're so proud of you. Keep up the good work. And as long as you set lofty goals, you'll succeed in life. Thank you very much.
And Ms. Crisos, thank you for everything you do for the students. Thank you very
Absolutely.
much.
Yep.
We have another piece of good news tonight. Mrs. Johnson, would you care to step up? And we have some representatives from Healy Bender in the audience. We have Dave Patton and Matt Cronin. Do this? Okay.
Dave, would you give a little introduction, please, about the grant and talk about the application process also, and how Mrs. Johnson was selected?
Okay. It's on? Yeah. I'm Dave Patton. I'm one of the principals with Healy Bender Architects, working with Ken. Down at the school conference in November, we were demonstrating and displaying some art that one of our other clients, the students, had put together, and we wanted to show that in our display booth. This art teacher in Peru School District out in Western Illinois, we had done a new school for them, and she was just very pleased with the way the room worked out for her and the opportunities that it provided to her students. So, you know, as architects, obviously we are true believers in art as part of the curriculum. Art is kind of what we do as architects. All of us as architects remember an art teacher that kind of inspired us to kind of move forward in our careers and choose a profession that kind of allowed us to express ourselves personally and express the wants and needs of some of our clients, including Crete Monee. In fact, we're the architects of this beautiful auditorium in this building. So it's always kind of nice to come back and see facilities that we were architects for. We sent over an application to Ken. He forwarded it on, and Linda Johnson with the middle school here put together an application response. What we're looking for were reasons why you would want to receive a $250 art grant to promote art in your school and in, you know, within the district. Linda, now I will say we got a lot of applications, and you know, all of them were very compelling stories. And it was difficult to make the decision, but a few of them kind of rose to the top, including this one. Linda had put together some information on, the importance of art, and of course we agreed with that. But one of the things that basically what her grant was for was to allow her the opportunity to bring a new medium to the art experience. She researched and wanted to explore the art of glass making. She would expose students to various artists, and I'm not going to try to read the names. But what she was looking for were, the process would be glass fusing that could be done on the existing kilns through programming. The materials that she needed were a grozer, glass score, glass pliers, glass breaker, cutting system, kiln wash or spray, molds, and some various different types of glass that the students would be utilizing. And it would allow the students to sketch and plan and design and measure and cut and set and obviously fire the glass and have a successful project. And we just felt that it was a really good use of that art grant, and we have awarded Crete Monee the one of the $250 art grants that we put together. There were 3 of them, so you're one of 3. So we would like to present. We brought the big check to Linda.
Oh, yeah. Oh, look, I think we're ready. Oh, my God.
You're welcome. Now, I know you can't put that through the automatic teller, so we actually brought you. We brought you a little one too.
One that you could take to the bank.
All right.
Okay.
When I'm supposed to be there.
Well, Janine picked up the application. I carry it back to Crete, so I can. Yes.
This means
Yeah, really. I'm pictured out.
I don't think so. Terry, is that it for us? Pictures? That's a wrap. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, board member comments. Mrs. Galbraith.
I'm so excited to see what this is going to produce. I can envision it, but I'm not good at art at all. You know, stick figures are my specialty. I can do those. So I'm just praying that soon we get to see this. When is this going to take place? Do we know when you're going to start this process? So can I ask a favor? Can you let us know when we can see the product?
Oh, absolutely.
Awesome, awesome. Great. Well, thank you very much to Healy Bender. This is very exciting for us. Mrs. Johnson, can't wait to see what happens, and congratulations for all the hard work that you do for us.
Thanks, Linda, for putting together the application, the grant application. Very creative, and I agree with Janine. I'd like to see the product, and thank you, Healy Bender, for the generous donation.
Yes, I don't have a creative bone in my body, but I can really appreciate art. And that's what I like about this district is there are so many things that might not be right for one person, but isn't for another student. So I really like that. I love your passion. I've seen your work before. So thank you for following through, and thank you for the grant. I appreciate it.
Dr. Hull?
Congratulations, and thank you, Healy Bender, for this opportunity. And I think it's wonderful that you guys are kind of stepping out of your traditional role, but supporting what's being done in the classroom. So thank you for that. Also, Linda, I know you enjoy what you do, and thank you for what you do. And I think you're a very creative person. And I think any opportunity for our kids to explore something different, I think is phenomenal for them. And I know that that's how you think. And I don't know if, you know, all the board knows even how you contributed to the Wellness Day over at the middle school and even helping teachers kind of explore the art side. So thank you for everything.
So correct me if I'm wrong, Mrs. Johnson, but I think you're the only teacher that every one of the students sees throughout because there's several specials teachers. You're the only art teacher, correct? Yes. So there's different gym teachers, there's different design tech teachers. Well, I guess no communications, Mr. Viss and band, but so you're one of the only. And I have to tell you, you made a comment about, you know, having everybody as a teacher that inspires us. I have to say, I've heard many stories about students that you've inspired. And I think that this medium is another way that you can inspire students. And Mrs. Roop said that she didn't have how did you put it, a creative bone in your body? Well, that's me. And I have to say that in my adult life, I have sat down once to do art, and it was at a session that Mrs. Johnson was doing. And I have to say, I did those little circles and I didn't think I could do it. And so she's not just good at teaching kids, but she's good at teaching adults too. So thank you for everything you do. And Healy Bender, thank you very much for this opportunity. We greatly appreciate it. Thank you.
Great students. We just witnessed great teacher. That's what makes for a great school district. Thank you very much for your commitment and your passion for your subject area. We appreciate it very much. And again, thank you to Healy Bender for providing the check to us. Much appreciated.
Thank you. Public comment. We have one public comment tonight. James W. Young, trustee, Monee Township Government, regarding community concerns and activities. Welcome.
Thank you, President Gasparo. Members of the board, Superintendent Patton, department heads and residents and teachers and students. Before I begin, let me also echo my congratulations to the middle school the athletes, the parents, the teachers, and also Ms. Johnson. You know, being a public school teacher myself, I know how competitive getting those awards can be. And both my sons attend the Crete Monee School District, and I know the level of involvement of parents when it comes to their children. And I didn't let them play unless their grades were good. So that's a good thing. It's been a while since I've been here, and I know I'm on a time limit, Vice President Albert, so I'll stay within the restraints. I haven't been with you guys since December, but I have been doing my homework, okay? So I'm here tonight to ask and to make inquiry as to how the board plans on involving the community and interested community groups in the Presidential Search Committee. As I mentioned to you in December, I am involved with a community group called Strengthening Our Schools, SOS. So we will very much like to have an invitation to participate in the process of selecting our new superintendent. So that's issue number one. Issue number two is that I have mentioned before that I am not opposed to school residency. I believe in it, I support it. However, the process and the way that it's being addressed by the school district, I don't agree with, and neither does the committee, SOS. We don't agree with it either. About a couple of weeks ago, we facilitated a community workshop, parent information session with the Chicago Committee of Attorneys on Civil Rights. And it was very interesting to me after the presentation. If this board realizes, and if this board understands, and if the board knows that you're just as responsible for creating the problem of school residency as the violators. So I want you to keep that thought in mind as you review the results from the National Investigation Agency that's conducting the school investigations on residency. And I say that to say that our commitment to supporting the school district remains the same. There needs to be linkage, a strong linkage between the school, the community, and the Board of Education. There is a solution to the problem, you know, and we can talk more about it later. Thank you. Unfortunately, I can't stay because I have a Board of Trustees meeting to be at also across town, and it starts at 7:30. But I'll be back, and we will continue to talk some more, okay? Take care.
Just so that you know, we do have it on our agenda for our meeting with IASB rep for our superintendent search to discuss the community involvement, and that'll take place next week. Okay, thank you.
Can you clarify that meeting date?
We set that for Tuesday, correct? That's been, IASB meeting is Tuesday, 5:30. Board updates. Board members who, there's, I think, a few of us going to San Antonio for the National School Board Association Conference. When we come back next month, if we could each have a short synopsis of what we learned and how we plan to bring that back to our district, that would be great. So be looking forward to that next month. Any other board updates?
I have one very quick one. Today, Dr. Clark and I had a meeting, our very first meeting regarding our safety plan with the local fire chiefs. It went extremely well. Unfortunately, only 2 of them could make it, so we have 3 that hopefully will join us next month when we know, but we're going to start looking at our safety plans and our site plans. And along with the fire chief, we're going to get all of that updated and then move forward with the fire, working with the police and our administrative to make sure that we have all of our safety plans up to date and in order and that everyone is trained fully on them. Thank you.
Is that working
you.
with all of our villages, police?
I'm sorry, say that again.
Working with all of the police?
We have reached out to all of our villages. Unfortunately, one couldn't make it today. I didn't hear back from 2 of the villages, so the members that were there today are going to reach out to them and bring them up to speed and see if we need to adjust when we're meeting or what exactly is going on. But we did reach out to every village. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Have you heard from
I'm sorry.
Asking Dr. Clark.
No, I have not heard from them, but we're going to continue. We're going to have another meeting next month, and we're going to continue to meet until we're all on the same page. One of the things that we're trying to do is just make sure that when we come together, that we're addressing their needs in the community as well as the school needs. So we may see where we need their help on trying to implement some things, but at the same time, their response to us and what they need to be able to do when they get there is something that we need to look at as well. So right now, I'm asking them to assess based on their needs so we can incorporate the whole in our plan.
And this is that same group that you were meeting with, correct?
No,
Law
this one is
enforcement?
with the fire chiefs. Beforehand, it was the law enforcement, and then we come together as one unit.
Okay, so this is separate.
Yes.
Okay, so the planning and coming later when you bring law enforcement and
All
fire.
stakeholders. That's going to be for your tabletop discussions where you start looking at what could likely happen. So let's just say since active shooter is out there, if we were to have an active shooter, what are our roles? What do we do? And you just actually plan it out, and then you end up having a mock exercise. But you bring all your stakeholders on board, not just us. We're talking about the county. So everybody has to be at the table to plan that out.
And this may be separate, but I saw that we're doing the restorative justice training with a few of our buildings. Is there a plan to also do that with this group? And the reason I'm saying is, as you all know, I have major concerns with the increase in arrests of our students. These individuals were in our building on the day of the walkout. I believe I saw police and fire there. So they're coming in contact with our students. And I have concerns when we're bringing in stakeholders that don't necessarily have that experience. So is there any plan on some type of training for this group? Because there's a difference with handling adults versus children. So that's why I asked that.
Are you talking about the police departments, the county and
Police and fire were in the
so the county
high school
and University Park and
last
Crete
Wednesday.
So we asked for their additional support in the building because we offered the walkout to the entire student body. So the reason for them being there was to ensure their safety and making sure no one walked up on the property. So that was the reason for them being there. But to answer your question, Youth Mental Health First Aid has recognized that we have more involvement with our police and our fire departments. They're going to be offering Youth Mental Health First Aid on their level to address students. Like, for example, you may have a student that is experiencing a medical need, but it comes out in behavior. So helping them to be able to identify that so that they don't go in arms ready to take a student down or something like that. That is coming. So I don't know exactly when that program will be released. The other thing that we're doing in terms of
I'm sorry, did you specify a specific program?
Yes, it's through
Is
Youth
the
Mental
name
Health
of it?
First Aid.
Youth Mental
And that's going to
Okay.
come from the state level.
Yeah. Okay.
And the other thing that we're doing, because we are working with our police department in terms of our safety plan, we are asking that the members of the LER take part in the same training that our administrators are doing for Alice. And so we will be doing that training on the 27th and the 28th of this month. And it's important that they understand the training that we're going through so that they can help even the trainers that are training us understand what they have to do in terms of law enforcement to make sure that everybody is being trained accordingly and lawfully as to what can and cannot happen when police are involved.
Well, I'm glad to hear that because this is not just cut and dry. It's not black and white. And I think in some ways it's being treated that way. And so to hear that at least, there's some things coming down the pipeline, I think is very important to do that. Because again, I don't like the increase in the arrest. It's very much a reactive situation a lot of times, and I don't see a lot of proactivity going on, just from my view. So thank you for sharing that.
But, excuse me, I'd like to go on record as saying that the relationship between the administration and the Crete Police Department especially is very good. I had a chance through Mrs. Galbraith, had a chance to have lunch with the assistant police chief, and he is extremely cooperative and very supportive of this, of our school district. And anytime we have called on them for whatever reason, they've been very responsive and been very cooperative in terms of our expectations for them. So, and I happened to be in the building, and I think that I saw nothing that any of the police or fire did that would not be appropriate in the situation. So I'd like to go on record as saying I'm very, very pleased with our relationship at this point in time.
Let me make clarity. I did not say it was any inappropriateness. Police presence, period, in the building can cause some issues. What I witnessed was pandemonium when there was a fight in the building. And so when you're bringing police in a building, there has to be training. There has to be understanding of why they're there, what they're there to do. And I feel like some did not understand that. And it's never, harmful to do any type of training for them to understand the school environment and for those who work in the school environment to understand what their job is. So let me reiterate, that's what I was referring to. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else? Administrative updates, district affairs. Dr. Clark.
For the month of February, there were 5 FOIAs submitted, all fulfilled within the month of February and have been placed on our website for review. As a reminder, I would like to state that anything pertaining to student records, any personal information regarding employees will not be shared in FOIA.
I know it was a long list this time, but if you can just read the numbers, the requester and the status and
Okay.
hours of completion, because I know we talked about this before,
Okay.
but that one is like a page long itself, so.
Okay, I'll start at the top. February 001, all written correspondence related to Nathaniel Cunningham Jr.'s resignation as superintendent from the district, including but not limited to his official resignation notice. All disciplinary documents stemming from or related to Nathaniel Cunningham Jr.'s employment with the district. Requested by Adam Dukas, field February 13th, 30 minutes to complete. February 002, bid results and who was ultimately awarded the contract the last time the landscaping and lawn care maintenance services RFP was offered. And also would like to know the vendors who bid on the work, their bid amounts, and which vendor and for how much the contract was awarded. Tom Root, field 216, 18, 1 hour to complete. February 003, all updated information on the number of student residency cases investigated by National Investigation, Inc. between the period of December 2017 through February 9, 2018, to include the specific number of suspect cases found to be in violation of CMSD 201U residency rules and the geographical areas where these student suspect cases reside. James Young, field 22618, 2 hours to complete. February 004, the total amount of money is expended by CMSD 201U for investigative services rendered by National Investigations, Inc. for the period of December 20, 2017 through February 9, 2018. Kindly include copies of all bills received which have been paid and remains pending payment regarding student background checks. James Young, field 22618, 1 hour to complete. February 005, all policies and procedures relating to the use of and maintenance of any database or log of students who are suspected or confirmed.
Dr. Clark, you want to just summarize that one?
Yes. Basically, Jessica Snyder Lewis Bedford, Chicago Lawyers Committee, requested all information pertaining to our policies and procedures pertaining to residency in any databases that have been shared. It was filled February 27, 2018, 7 hours and 30 minutes to complete.
There were 16 pieces to that. So if anybody wants to see the full
It is online.
list, it's on the website. Okay. Any questions? Thank you. Can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Moved.
Okay. Moved by, was it Mrs. Roop, seconded by Mrs. Galbraith? Mr. Patton, would you read the consent agenda, please?
Number one, the regular meeting minutes of February 20th, 2018. The regular meeting closed session minutes of February 20th, 2018. Special meeting minutes of March 13th, 2018. The special meeting closed session minutes of March 13th, 2018. The committee of the whole meeting minutes of March 13th, 2018. And the committee of the whole closed session minutes of March 13th, 2018. And under curriculum, approval of the amended calendar for the school year 2017-2018. Under business, approval of accounts payable, approval of payroll, approval of the treasurer's report, and under donations, yes, okay, one donation. You're going to read it? Okay.
Questions? Roll call?
I have a question on the treasurer's report. Ken.
We'll get to it.
So it looks like year to date, we've paid, all our debt services paid. Is that just a timing issue? That's already been paid through February for the fiscal year? About 11 million year to date paid out versus 11.7 in the budget.
11,
Yes,
7, 14.
that is for the fiscal year, so we should be up to date. So there
Okay.
should be no other debt service.
So it'll come in under budget. Are there any, just looking at the education fund running at about 53% through 8 months, but I guess July and August would be, you wouldn't have payroll. So are we on track? Any of these budget categories you're concerned about that we would?
I have not seen any
materially
that I'm concerned about right now as I look at it. I think running 53% is a little bit behind, but that's because stipends
Paid at
that
the end.
are given to our teachers are not booked yet. So those will come out. So I think we're going to be right at those numbers.
Okay.
And we do have 12-month pay, correct?
Pardon me?
We do have employees that get paid for the full 12 months.
We do have
They
that.
can choose that.
But that's run in this fiscal year. So the months of July and August will be booked in the
Right.
June numbers also.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure.
Any other questions? Roll call, please.
Mr. Albrecht,
Aye.
Dr. Hall,
No.
Mrs. Roop,
Aye.
Mrs. Galbraith is an aye, Mrs. Gasparo,
Aye. Thank you. Motion carries. Action reports, business. We have a lawn care. Oh, yes, I'm sorry. Let me read the donation letter real quick. I do.
Oh, one more.
It is from Kelly Chester, Director of the Crete Monee Early Learning Center, to Miss Tabitha Stein. Thank you much for donating the book Rosie Revere Engineer by Andrea Beatty. The Crete Monee Early Learning Center staff and the students are very touched by your support. This book will make a great addition to our library for the students to experience. We appreciated your thoughtfulness and generosity towards our program and students. Sincerely, Kelly Chester. Thank you. Sorry. Now, action reports, business, the lawn care and landscaping contract. Mr. Surma?
Thank you very much. Before you is a new lawn and landscaping contract that we put out to bid a couple months ago, and you will see the board report and also a summary of all the bids that came in. We did receive actually 4 bids. One was incomplete, but we're recommending the lawn and landscaping contract be awarded to Carefree Lawn Maintenance in the amount of $131,000. One of the differences with this contract and the previous contract, it is very detailed, and it does include not only cutting and trimming the grass area, it does include weeding, it does include fertilization, core aeration, also the installation of mulch that we were paying separately before, and it also includes the mowing of our athletic fields too. So that is also included. So it is a very comprehensive contract. I'm very happy with the terms of it. What I will tell you is we did have a preliminary meeting with the contractor already to assure that they are going to be able to meet the terms and conditions. I wanted to make sure that and begin developing that relationship. So that is before you. Our recommendation is approval of that for $131,000.
Well, thank you. Can I get a motion to approve the lawn care landscaping contract for 2018-2019?
So moved.
Second.
Questions, comments?
I have one question. I might be missing this, but I don't see the period of time that this amount covers.
Go to the next thing. Here. Yep. 17.
Okay, I understand that, but I'm talking about, does it start April 1st to November 30th? My concern is that I heard a month ago that when we started to look at the fields, they were knee-high to a grasshopper. Well, they don't grow like that over the winter. So what I'm questioning is, when does this start and when does this end for this amount?
If the board approves it, it starts tomorrow. That's when it'll start, and it'll continue on through what's called the mowing season. That normally is the end of November. And that the payments are set up that it will be 8 monthly payments that the vendor will receive on this.
Okay, so I just want to make sure that I'm clear. It would start tomorrow if we approve it,
Yes,
if it doesn't snow. And
I didn't
then,
even say that.
hey, I wore my snowflakes
I
just
know
for
you did.
Laura. And it's going to, for sure, go to the end of November when things start going dormant?
goes to the end of the
We're not
mowing
going to end it in
season, no.
September or
Nope.
first week of October?
No, not at all. We've made
Okay.
that very clear to the vendor, and that is as part of the bid specs, that is what is in there. And that-
Okay, so is that stipulated in here somewhere?
It's
that-
stipulated in bid specifications, and that, so
Okay.
the bid specifications become actually the contract.
Okay,
And that's what they have to meet, and that is under scope of service. It's section 3 actually in the bid specs.
okay. I just want to make sure we have that in
Sure.
writing somewhere,
Yep.
that come October, if we get a snow, they think they get to stop, and then the
No.
next day it's 80, so.
No, not at all, especially with the mowing of the athletic fields. That's a
Right, right. That is
continuation
my
needs to take-
concern.
yes.
And just in general, the in front of the high school, you know.
I agree.
It
And
looks
those are
really
specific
shaggy
conversations,
sometimes.
right?
and-
And those are specific conversations we had in the bid specs. I'll give you an example. In the bid specs, it does say that they have to put mulch down prior to graduation at the high school. So, and to do weeding and all of that, those things. So those are specifically in the bid specifications.
Okay,
have to
and
be
that
met.
carries as the contract.
Yes, that
And they
carries as
have
a
the
contract.
dates.
Yes, they have dates. That has to be done 10 days prior to the graduation ceremony.
Okay,
And that.
thank
And
you. I
then the
just,
same thing is done in the fall when we come back to school. 10 days prior to the start of school, all of our facilities have to be mulched and weeded.
but they will be cutting throughout the summer.
Cutting throughout the
And-
summer, yes.
And they will be weeding, I mean, they'll be doing this no
yes.
matter what. It's just that 10 days before, we're going to make that push.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
I just want to make sure that's in writing because,
It is.
you know
Yes.
why.
Yep,
Thank you.
you bet.
Any other? No.
Go ahead. So this covers a period of time between 2 fiscal years. And is it just
Yes.
for this time period, the contract through the end of November 1st, 2018? So it'd go out for a bid again for next year?
Not necessarily. We can renew it. We do have a price for next year, and I didn't want to commit to 2 years right now. I want to see and make sure the contractor does their work. And that's a discussion we had the other day when we met with them. I said to them, my recommendation is not to go for a 2-year agreement right now. They are a vendor that the district has used before a few years ago. But again, I just want to make sure that everything goes well. And then we'll be coming back to the board with a recommendation to renew it for a second year at the price that's indicated there. If I can negotiate something a little bit cheaper, I'll do that too. So,
Okay, so when the comparison you presented, which has a 2019 price comparison, that's their indicative pricing if we were to.
yes,
extend for
I
this.
asked them for that as an alternative bid in the bid docs. And that, just so we have that at least.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Roll call?
Mrs. Root,
Aye.
Dr. Hall?
Nay.
Mr. Albrecht?
Aye.
Mrs. Galbraith is an aye. Mrs. Gasparo?
Aye. Thank you. Motion carries. Curriculum, approval of Title I school-wide plans. Ms. Hirsch?
Yes, this is a request to approve the school-wide Title I plans for our 5 Title I schools. That's Balmoral, Crete, Talala, Crete Monee Middle School, and Monee Education Center. Each year, Title I schools are expected to review and update their plans, and those updated plans must be approved by the Board of Education and kept on file at the district office. This year, the shift from No Child Left Behind to ESSA resulted in many changes and some changes to timelines, kind of got us backed up a little bit, but it also resulted in a change in the school-wide template. This school-wide plan includes the new ESSA school-wide template, the needs assessment, school data, and the school improvement plan, which consists of our instructional practices, inventory, goal, and corresponding activities for student engagement that our schools developed and presented at our school improvement retreat last June, as well as the key actions for school improvement that was part of the academic report in the fall. The school-wide plans are not meant to be an additional plan, but are supposed to be the plans that our schools have in place and put in the format that's required by ESSA. So we're recommending that the board approve those plans tonight.
Questions? Comments?
Can you
So
clarify
when we
if there's any part of ESSA that requires board involvement?
Well, the actual part of ESSA is in the complete law or is part of the school-wide plans?
The law.
Board involvement? Well, there is a high family, it's family engagement part of ESSA. Yes, there is. So I would imagine the board is included in that.
I believe there's specific language to it. And the reason I'm asking is, then my next question was going to be, does it need to be addressed in these plans? So can we look into that? Because I believe there's a specific piece.
Are you talking about in actually formulating the plans?
No, I want to say that it's some type of training or informational. But
Well,
I went through that like maybe 2 years ago, so I'm not really totally.
these plans, we utilize the questions and the sections that are in the federal template and
Right.
then added
And there's a family portion or community portion, correct, in the plan?
not in the federal template that we used.
There's no portion where you address that?
No, we
Without a-
completed the questions that were in the components in the document that's provided by the
Mhm.
federal government.
I'll look into it specifically and tell you what exactly I'm referring to.
Thank you. I'd be interested in that.
Now, the law does have in the processes for parent involvement, they have to have their compact and their family engagement that goes along with parent involvement funds. But in this actual document,
In the
there was-
actual document, you're saying it's not
Right.
to be, okay. So then if the other compliances, how are they submitted to the state? The other portion, if there's compliance that required by ESSA, is it you're just submitting the,
All we have to do is have the plan approved by the board and kept on file
But
here.
they're not submitted.
They're not submitted to the state, which is a change because they
Mhm.
used to have to be submitted. So they're not submitted. And then, but through the grant itself, the grant now has many more requirements for reporting. So part of what we do, first, the grant gets approved, and then every quarter we have to provide documentation of our expenditures plus our activities that go along with the expenditures. So right now, we're through Q2 of the school year, and we'll finish out the year. So they reconcile the grant, what we've spent versus what we say we were going to do.
And that's the reporting process.
That's the reporting process. And that includes our parent involvement funds.
Okay, that's what thank you.
So just so I understand, so having this on file is just to comply with the
Yes.
terms of the grant. It's not the application process. or
No,
we're
the
already
application process was completed. In fact, we
Okay.
just finished our last amendment. So as we just got our final allocations, I had to go back in and amend the grant to reallocate or allocate new funds that were given to us. So it's kind of an ongoing process.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Can I get a motion to approve the Title I school-wide plans?
Moved.
Roll call?
Mr. Albrecht?
Aye.
Dr. Hall?
Aye.
Mrs. Root?
Aye.
Mrs. Galbraith is an aye. Mrs. Gasparo?
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you. We do not have a need for a closed session. Action reports. Human Resources. Can I get a motion to approve the stipend payments to certain administrators in an amount not to exceed $26,000?
Moved.
Second.
Mr. Patton?
Upon superintendent, the superintendent who resigned in, I believe in October, the 4 district administrators and one other administrator stepped into the vacuum created by that resignation and took upon the responsibilities of the superintendent for several months. And I know for a fact that each one of them worked extremely hard to keep the school district moving in a professional manner. And I would recommend a stipend for each one of them for their hard work and commitment to the school district in a time of need. Needless to say, they had their own jobs to do, which are quite arduous to say the least, and to assume additional responsibilities was well beyond the call of duty. And I certainly would recommend that these stipends be approved.
Questions and comments?
I don't know that I saw clarity or heard clarity on, I remember there were different amounts proposed. So is that what this total is, or did we decide on an average for everybody?
It was in an email that was sent. I don't have access to my email right now, but it was.
I remember an email that was specifically different amounts for each one.
Yes, that is correct.
So that's what I'm saying. So it's those numbers, and this is not, everyone got the same.
Correct.
No, different administrators assumed different responsibilities. Some had a heavier load than others in terms of what they picked up from the superintendent's office. So to be fair, it was determined that the persons who picked up the highest amount of work and workload should have been given, the larger portion of the $26,000. So it was not an equal distribution, but I feel it was a distribution that was fair based on the additional work that was assumed.
And it was discussed in closed session at our committee of the whole meeting also.
And so it was equitable, not equal,
Correct.
right?
Correct.
Okay, perfect example of equity. And just for clarity, I did see where each assistant sup was basically asked to submit an estimate, correct, of how many hours were estimated. So were you all keeping this as you were going along, or was this only when you were requested to do it?
I'll speak for myself. We were asked to give an estimate of amount of time. I personally did not look at every minute that I was doing something in response to the superintendent, but I could tell, I can give a response.
I do know that the administrators assume responsibility well beyond the end of the normal working hours. Many of them worked long into the night and on weekends to keep the ship afloat. I know that personally. And when I look at the responsibility that I have as one person, and for them to take those responsibilities and divvy them up among themselves and assume that extra workload, I think is quite commendable and shows their commitment to the school district.
I would just like to go on record as saying thank you. I know that many of you put in a lot of hours. It was well above and beyond what anybody could have expected. And I just want to say thank you publicly. I think you all did a great job. You jumped in and did what needed to be done. And many times when we would bring something up, you would say, it's already been started or we're working on it. So I do appreciate it. And I just want to publicly say thank you to all of you that stepped up and helped us out during that period.
Board of Education, you have a great team here. They work together collegially and they work hard and they're committed to these schools and the communities that the school district serves. I am amazed at the amount of work that they put in, long hours. And, you know, I'm here every day and I'm not trying to pat myself on the back, but I'm here every day by 8 o'clock and the earliest that I usually leave is 4:30. Many days I'm here until late in the night, and I know these people are here a lot of times, many hours after I've gotten in my car and headed home. So I think they should be applauded and very much appreciated by the board and the communities.
Any other questions? Roll call, please. Oh. Sure. Can I get a motion for the approval of stipend payments to certain administrators in an amount not to exceed $26,000? Yes, I do.
Are we ready for roll call? Mr. Albrecht?
Aye.
Dr. Hall?
Abstain.
Mrs. Root?
Aye.
Mrs. Galbraith is an aye. Mrs. Gasparo?
Aye. Thank you. Motion carries. Can I get a motion to approve the certified staff leave of absence, certified staff return from leave of absence, educational support staff employment, educational support staff leave of absence, and the educational staff return from leave of absence?
Moved.
I'll second it. Questions?
We have a short personnel report this month. For certified staff leave of absence, we have Carrie Dragovich, Aaron France, and Dina Karanakolis. For certified staff return from leave of absence, Dina Karanakolis and Catherine Kendrick. Educational support staff employment, Samuel Joe Jr. and Tara Shires. Educational support staff leave of absence, Eddie Morris, Morgan Pfeiffer, Kathy Rodenbaugh, Nicholas Steele, and Thomas Webster. And educational support staff return from leave of absence, Vicki Middendorp.
That was short. Thank you. Any other questions? Can I get a roll call, please?
Mr. Albrecht?
Aye.
Dr. Hall? No.
No.
Mrs. Root?
Aye.
Mrs. Galbraith is an aye. Mrs. Gasparo?
Aye. Thank you. Motion carries. Can I get an approval of the settlement agreement for former employee, excuse me? What did I say?
Skip the whole motion.
Can I get a motion for the approval of a settlement agreement for former employee 2018-001?
Moved.
Second.
Very briefly, this is a settlement agreement with former employee Alvin Hutton. The terms are included in the settlement agreement in board book and were discussed in the committee of the whole. The administration recommends approval of the settlement agreement.
Thank you. Questions, comments? Okay, roll call.
Mrs. Root,
Aye.
Dr. Hall,
Abstain, sorry.
Mr. Albrecht,
Aye.
Mrs. Galbraith is an aye, Mrs. Gasparo,
Aye. Thank you. Motion carries. Can I get a motion to approve the settlement agreement for employee 2018-002?
So moved.
I will second it. Mr. Neal?
This is a settlement agreement for employee Deanna Beatty. This terms of the settlement are included in the board book. We did discuss this in the committee of the whole, and the administration does recommend approval of the settlement.
Thank you. Questions? Roll call.
Mr. Albrecht,
Aye.
Dr. Hall,
Aye.
Mrs. Root,
Aye.
Mrs. Galbraith is an aye, Mrs. Gasparo,
Aye. Thank you. Motion carries. Can I get a motion to approve the notice of remedy for certified employee 2018-003?
Moved.
second.
Okay, thank you.
This is a notice to remedy for certified employee Mario Coleman. We have discussed this in the committee of the whole as well as information provided in multiple FYIs. The administration is recommending approval of the notice to remedy.
Thank you. Questions? Roll call.
Mrs. Root,
Aye.
Dr. Hall,
Aye.
Mr. Albrecht,
Aye.
Mrs. Galbraith is an aye, Mrs. Gasparo,
Present. Thank you. Motion carries. Do we have any old business? New business? Can I get a motion to adjourn?
moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? We are adjourned.